Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Cyber Pulse. I'm Sheikha Alfani, and today we're discussing something that affects anyone with a digital footprint, which kind of means all of us. We are living in the age of screenshots. Messages are saved, posts are archived, comments resurface, context fades, but records remain. Reputation is no longer shaped only by what we say, it's shaped by what stays. Therefore, to begin with, I'd like to give the chance to our guest to introduce himself, and then we'll start our discussion. Ali, is there a chance you can introduce yourself to the audience and let them know a little bit about yourself?
Hello to everyone. My name is Ali Nahli. I'm a broadcast engineer and consultant in the broadcast sector. I've been in this sector for more than 20 years now. And like any professional in the domain, now I feel that it's my job to educate people about our job, about how to make it better and how to make broadcast infrastructures that affect our everyday life much better.
Interesting. So 20 years is not a short period of time, mashallah. So before we dive into it, let's start broadly. Do you believe digital reputation today carries more weight than traditional or offline reputation? Why or why not?
Well, actually, it depends on the sector or the domain concerned in this. So, for example, if a job is related to media or to some kind of social media domain, yeah, this is for sure. The online reputation is much more effective than any traditional reputation. But if you go to other sectors, it's mixed. There should be balance. And some other places, you will find that there are many professionals that I meet, like not every day, but I usually meet, that don't have any social media or any digital presence, but they are well known and this is what they rely on. They don't need any digital presence.
Interesting. So you think reputation in general is something that can take you places even with or without a digital footprint?
Exactly. But I cannot deny that the digital footprint is now taking a big share. But again, it depends on the profession and depends on the person themselves, what reputation they work on and what field they work in.
Interesting. We often hear the phrase, the internet never forgets. So, do you think that's true in today's world, or is it something that's overstated?
The internet is actually, it's the data we have. The data never goes anywhere. It's always there, but it's people who forget. So yeah, the internet doesn't forget because the data is always there. You just need to look for it and you will get it. Yeah.
But do you think people rely on the internet and on research methodologies nowadays to check something or to validate something more than word of mouth?
Well, if you look at the social media and at people around you in everyday life, actually, most of the people think that they are researching. But if you ask them, where did you research that? You will really be sudden to hear answers like TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
some place like that. Or nowadays, it's like ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatsoever. So it's more like the trend, let's say, not even the word of mouth or the research anymore.
Interesting. So it's more of what they can find instead of what's really out there.
Yeah, and this comes to the topic of this episode, the screenshot, the age of screenshot. It's the ease of access, you know.
Yes.
People nowadays, they don't want to go deep. They want what's ready for them, what they see first. I saw this first. It convinced me, then I'm okay with it. I'm not saying about everybody, but it's like a majority now. So if we go back to the topic, screenshot, now, if you see something, you, me, anyone, you find interesting information, a nice photo that you like online or a nice post, you are screenshotting it to come back later to it, because this will be easier for you. But what people are neglecting now is that thousands and thousands of files of screenshots are piling up the storage without even getting back to them. And this is what's happening with the daily research, what's happening with the daily life, what's happening with our lives and our connections with the people now.
Interesting perspective. To be honest, I never really thought about it in that main way. So it's nice to change perspectives when it comes to that. Let me ask you this though. Should someone be judged years later for something they posted at a different stage of their life?
I don't actually believe in this. The term the internet doesn't forget, it's yes, a record that makes people not forget something. And if someone remembers a thing about me or about you or about anyone, so after like 20 years, they can still bring it up because they have the internet.
True.
But as we know, as people grow, they pass through many stages. And through these stages, mentality changes time over time over time. I might have said an idea 20 years ago that have changed in my mind now. So if you are judging me for something that I said 20 years ago, maybe I was convinced about that 20 years ago, but life has changed, circumstances changed, maybe my character and mentality has changed. So why would you judge me for that before getting back to me and asking me and debating with me?
Interesting. I think as much as people say we see or we listen and we don't judge, not a lot of people stick to that. I've seen a lot of judgmental people, to be honest. Let me ask you this. It's easy to say something and to state that it's being done, but doing it and saying it is two different things. You know what I mean? Yeah, so a lot of people will say, okay, we're not gonna judge you, but then the minute they don't like something, you will see a judgment, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. The theory is not the same as the practice.
Thank
So
you.
you've got the theory, but you can't just practice it. And if you practice it once, you might not be able to maintain the practice. It's hard. People are in general judgy, a general rule. To be unjudgy, it's like sports, like anything, you have to train yourself for this. And we go back again to what we started. People go usually to the ease of access.
True. I resonate when it comes to that. True. How do you see cancel culture in the context of digital reputation?
I didn't get that.
Like when someone says you're no longer valid or you're no longer accountable and they just don't think you are as good as you really are because of your digital reputation. How would you deal with something like that?
I wasn't put in such a situation, but I can imagine it. To go back maybe to your first question about the digital reputation, as I mentioned, in many cases, the digital reputation is not relevant to the person as for the actual reputation. But on the other side, there are people who just look and judge you for your digital reputation. And maybe that's why if you see my LinkedIn profile, I just started going deeper into LinkedIn and to the professional social media, if you want to call it, like 4 years ago. Despite that, I've been for more than 20 years ago in this domain. That was because I noticed that my domain relies in some places on the digital reputation. So if someone comes and judges me only for the LinkedIn profile that I have and dismissing all these 20 plus years, I would say that he's not worth giving my experience to him. I'm not trying to be a show off. I'm just really explaining the situation. Because if you know yourself and you have enough validation for yourself, it comes from within. Anyone who is coming to validate me, I will ask him first, what's your qualification to validate me? If you are more qualified than me, you have the right to qualify me. If not, you don't have the right to qualify my experience and my expertise. So that's the situation.
I like that. I like this type of confidence. It's healthy. From where I'm standing, I think it's very healthy, and I think it's your right to say that. So I admire that.
Actually, I don't want to interrupt you, but there is something that I always mentioned to my colleagues and to the people I train and even to my close friends and family, we have a problem in our professional careers.
Which
Actually,
is?
we have two problems. The problem of confidence, that we always need validation from others, and the problem of saying I don't know.
Yeah, not
So I
not
always
a
tell,
lot of people will admit that. You're right.
and the misunderstanding here is that if you say I don't know, you are stronger than saying I know and then failing.
I agree
And if you
because
say, I don't know, this is enough motivation for you to evolve more and to learn more.
I agree because when you say you don't know something, you're kind of stating that you're willing to learn and you admitted that you don't know everything. We're not supposed to know everything in our domain.
I'm not supposed to know everything, even in my domain. You see, every domain, every profession, and when you go like higher or become a senior in your domain, you go to the management and you go to the consultancy and you go through this. You should know what you need to fulfill your task, but you also, the main thing you should rely on is the team management. Your team is supposed to give you the details and you are supposed to manage these details and put them in envelope in one file and finish the job. If you want to stay doing all the job yourself, you will be exhausted and you will not reach the level you aim to, because you will always be busy doing the details that someone should assist you doing it, and you should teach people how to do it.
Interesting perspective. Most people would say I'd rather keep that to myself than think of it from your perspective. So it's nice to see that some people actually know how to manage and lead. So it's pretty interesting.
When I was still like not a junior, but a step ahead of a junior. And we had a trainee that I was assigned to train him. And then one colleague heard me explaining and teaching. And then he came to me, and this really bothers me, this our mentality. He approached me and told me, Ali, you are giving him everything. I said, so what? He said, now he will be knowing the same info that we have, and he will be competing with us. I told him, see, if he is good enough to compete with me, I really have no problem for this. And I know myself. If I give him all the info, this will motivate me enough to get more info, because I know he will come back to me with questions that I should answer or I will fall off. So you should think like this to advance, or you will stay an operator. And the irony is that that guy is still an operator.
Because of his thinkings, that's why.
Yeah, after 20 years, he's still an operator.
No, but you're right. You actually have a point. If you want to grow, you need to make people grow with you. It's as
Exactly.
simple as that. So, Ali, do you believe online consequences today are always fair, or can they sometimes go too far?
They are fair in a very little percentage to me, on both sides, in the good way and in the bad way.
Can you
Because,
elaborate? Yeah.
yeah, so let's say I did a very nice project that no one did it before me, and it was a great shot, but no one mentioned on the social media, or it was mentioned like a fast news. This took my success if I'm relying on the social media. On the other hand, and this happened many times and it happens every day, and I'm sure you met or you saw many experiences like that. Someone who did nothing, just taking photos and videos in some kind of project or job or whatsoever, and then goes viral online and takes all the credit for this success, while a whole team working for that success is deprived of their credit. So, but in other places, yes, it can be fair. But with the booming of the social media, with this trendy videos and photos that people make and do, sometimes it deprives many people from the right of credit and from their success.
Interesting. Again, I never have seen it that way. I I think I'm the type that will look into the person who posted it and be like, oh wow. But then I know there's a team behind it, but I won't give it as much credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and this is not blame on the viewers of these videos, photos, media, whatsoever, or even the written stories. I see this because maybe the nature of our job that we have been doing for all these years, we are the backstage team.
Yes.
We are the engineering team, technically. We are the people who make it happen. I was lucky to work with people who give credit to each and every one in the team. And this is a grace, but this doesn't happen all the time.
So you were part of a
That's my
healthy
point.
culture.
Exactly. But most of the media culture is a show of culture and it's not healthy. I was lucky enough to be in a healthy culture, but most of the people I know are not.
Interesting. Look at this from a professional point of view or from a professional perspective. How much should someone's online presence influence hiring or promotion decisions?
You want me to speak honestly?
Yes, please.
I rely 25 to 35% on the online reputation, but I'm still the one who makes the calls for people and make the background check, regardless online reputation, because we've got many experiences with that, and online reputation alone in many places can be a big fail.
I like that. Someone finally admitted it. So, should organizations look at employees' public digital behavior, or does that cross a boundary?
I go a step higher. Now the hiring firms and these platforms and even big companies, they rely on AI in filtering the CVs. Stage number one, if your CV is not on the structure that the AI can read correctly, you are disqualified. Let's say everything is perfect and this AI happened to qualify you based on the CV you had, then it checked your profile, it checked your LinkedIn, it checked your online reputation, because it's a program. By the end of the day, it will not contact people. Then you are qualified and you went to the HR team as a CV. And based on this qualification, the HR team, which are mostly managerial team and finance team, and then they ask the professionals, like, we have this qualification, do you agree for it or no? If they relied only on the AI and their feedback from the online reputation, there is 90% chance that they will hire the wrong person.
Yeah, because AI will not filter things properly or from a people's perspective.
And because in the 7 billion in the world, there are 8 billion who lie when it comes to the social media and the online reputation. And this is the human nature, actually. If you are posting anything online, or if you are taking a photo for yourself, why do you use, for example, filters that social media platforms provide? Why are those filters very popular? Because people, when taking photos with these filters, they feel themselves that they look better. So they use them because they want to give better feeling for themselves and better picture about themselves to the people. So this is normal to lie in your CV and on your social media and online reputation.
Okay, now that you mentioned that, let's specifically talk about screenshots. Has screenshot culture changed the way people communicate personally or professionally?
Actually, screenshots come in a bigger package in this evolution. Yes, they affected the way of thinking, the perspective people look at things, and this in its turn affects the social relations between people, which are already affected. If you go 10 years back, we didn't communicate this way.
True.
If you go 7 years over these 10 years, 5 to 7 years, we also didn't communicate like 10 years back. Now, everything, if you monitor yourself, how did you approach things 5 to 10 years ago, and how are you approaching them? The patience you had on solving a matter or an issue now, what patience you had earlier, you will find a contrast between these, because the brain is programmed to have ease of access, to have screenshots about everything. And this is the problem. You are taking the screenshot, you are losing it in the memory of the phone, and you are losing it from the memory of your brain, because you are relying on the screenshot, which is buried in the data in your phone. So your brain is not taking that screenshot again. While if you go 10 years back, if you like something, a post, a page, an info, whatever it is, you would read it full or print it or send it to someone so you can save it to come back to it later. But you are reading at least 70% of that screenshot before you screenshot. Now you are, I'll screenshot and then come back to it later. How many times it happens with you daily? I'm also one of these.
I think with me, maybe I'll screenshot something in terms of what I like. In terms of, like, for example, I'm scrolling, let's say on Instagram, and I like something, I'll screenshot it maybe once or twice. I'll come across something I like, I'll screenshot it. I'll say to myself, I'll get back to this later, and then I never do.
No, actually, it's still the later. The later didn't finish yet.
Yes.
So later can take forever.
Exactly,
So
but
even the scrolling.
it's true, because you use screenshot with the intention that you will go back to it. But then you're
And you know, in your back conscious, you are relieved because you always think, okay, I have it in my screenshots. I can come back to it later. Earlier, we had the camera. I don't know how old are you, but we had the camera with the 24 or the 36 pictures film. If you go more than the 24, or 36, depending on the model, you don't have any more room for photos. Now, in 5 minutes, you can take 20 photos, 30 photos. It's losing the value. Like screenshots, it's letting you lose the value of this piece that you are screenshotting. Because, you know, I can screenshot as much as I want, and I will come back to it later. Or if you go back 20, 30 years ago, you were picky about which photo to take because you don't have enough room for as much photos that you want.
True, I like that. That makes more sense. Does this make people more careful, or does it make them more grounded?
You mean now, this age, or the old age? The
Up
older
to
age,
you,
I
like
mean.
when it comes to social media now and the age of screenshots, let's say.
I think people are less careful about this because they know the biggest problem you would have now is losing the data or the storage. And as long as you have data and storage, you can do whatever you want. You can screenshot whatever you want. You can upload or stream as much as you want. And going back to what you mentioned, the scrolling, you spend, not you, I mean, people spend hours daily on scrolling. And it's now the way of communication between friends. Like I'm scrolling, I find something interesting, I send it to my friend list, and then my friends, instead of saying hi, how are you, they send me a reel back and forth. It's like the ping pong, you know. So instead of communicating with speech, people are communicating now with social media posts. So this is also affecting us, and this makes them more careless about what's going around because everything is open. Surf as much as you want.
I wouldn't say unlimited, but because of ease of accessibility. We're no longer trying as hard to find something. Everything is basically, it's coming to us either through ads or through scrolling.
Actually, I just remembered, I just recalled a memory from the early 2000s when the internet started spreading in our countries in the Middle East. There was a company in the US called, I think, Roadrunner, if I'm not mistaken, who had the slogan, surf all the internet. So if you can finish the internet, it's your chance to finish it because of the speed and ease of access they did at that time. So actually, I think that this company is now humble with the data packages and the speeds we have.
Good point. Technology changes people. So are organizations truly prepared to handle reputational issues that begin online?
No.
Why do you think that?
No.
Yes.
It is no and never. As a person who works with technology, let's say I understand the AI, I understand the workflows, I understand all of these matters. I can simply open an office to, these offices, the printing offices and services offices. I can open an office which gives the service of polishing the CVs. And then I polish your LinkedIn account, I make a reputation for you, and you will be hired for an overqualified job. So if you will rely on technology for everything, knowing that the target is a human factor, you will fail, because AI and these programs, by the end of the day, are programs. They operate on the data you enter, on the input of data. So if I'm manipulating the data, I can manipulate the outcome. I need a human supervision always, whenever a human is involved. That's my opinion.
Interesting perspective. In a closely connected society, do online actions carry bigger consequences?
Actually, yeah. Because if you are posting anything online, you are not posting for your neighborhood, you are not posting for your city, you are not posting for your friends. You are actually posting for the 7 billion all over the earth. Regardless of privacy matters and all of this, if I have a friend who downloads something from my page and then spreads it, privacy is provoked no matter what I did later. So what you do online, the action you take online always has amplified impact from the matter you do without any social media or without any, let's say, technology coverage or whatsoever locally in your region.
Interesting. I have one last question for you, Ali. If you could see someone you know on the next episode of the Cyber Pulse, or who would you like to see, and what would you like the discussion to be about?
Actually, there is a friend who I would like to. He's the first one who came in my mind. His name is Aziz. He is more into the event production and these nice events happening in the country. He owns a company with another friend. They are partners. His name is Malik. So both of them can be good to hear from, actually.
Interesting. What do you think they would like to talk about?
Basically, they can speak about the fintech, they can speak about the events management and how it's affecting around with the technology advancing and the demand of the customers, because it's now all connected to each other. The customers and the clients want to make a high-tech event. The high-tech event should be broadcasted. Broadcast should go to social media. So it's all one circle. It all goes in the same plane, if you want to say. So they can talk about any of these that we mentioned.
Interesting. Let's see if we can really get them on the next episode of the Cyber Pulse. Thank you, Ali. I appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this. So, this was interesting. With everything that we discussed today, we can easily state that reputation used to be built slowly. Now, it can change overnight. In the age of screenshots, awareness is not optional, it's responsibility. This is the Cyber Pulse. I'm Sheikh Al Thani. Stay intentional, stay aware, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode.